Hello everybody, I'm InTheLittleWood, also known as Martin, and welcome back to the channel. So as you've probably seen, earlier this week at Yogscast, we got sent a Nintendo Switch device, and over the last couple of days, I've been sinking my teeth into The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wilds. So I can't share too much just yet. The NDA for this thing is insane. It's like no more than 15 minutes of footage, and it has to be in no longer than 3-minute increments, and there's a big long list of things regarding story and gear that I'm not allowed to show you. So instead of making a super jump cut filled let's play type video, I thought it'd be cool if I would share with you some of my best tips. I've played the game for about 3 or 4 hours now, and I think all of these things will come in super handy when you first jump into the game. Number 1, cooking is king. So this Zelda title doesn't run on a system of collecting hearts that burst out of a smashed pot, or springing out of the tall grass when you happen to slash it with your sword. Your health is your responsibility. To regenerate health in this game, you're going to need to eat lots of food, so cooking is a core element of the game. Cooking literally any ingredient on its own will often yield a better version of itself. For example, if you've got, say, an apple, that heals for half a heart, but when it's a baked apple, it'll heal for 3/4 of a heart. Now, obviously, that's not too much of a jump, but when it comes to things like raw meat becoming seared steaks, that's going to have a significant jump. And I'm not just going to hand you all of the recipes for the game, it's quite nice discovering them for yourselves by experimenting, mashing things together, and if you're really desperate, you can go and find a wiki page. But a good rule of thumb to follow is that combining critters, those being butterflies, lizards, frogs, fish, etc., with monster parts like key swings and bokoblin horns, will usually give you something substantial in return. Then there are a couple of items that will actually grant buffs in a recipe that go beyond just heart regeneration. Things like peppers giving you frost resistance, and certain mushrooms in Hyrule granting you stamina regen. Number 2, inspect the unexpected. So there are a ton of little treasures and goodies hidden throughout the world of Hyrule, and a lot of them are kind of in plain sight. All you need to do is be inquisitive enough to find them. And this isn't just for the Korok seeds, which I currently don't know what they do, but if they're important enough to feature on the load screen, then they must be pretty decent, right? And I'm not just talking about the seeds, but all loot in general. Whether you come across a weird rock formation and there's a teeny tiny rock that you can pick up, or you might find a ring of flowers that are very suspiciously floating on the top of the water that maybe you could dive through perhaps. Or even a flower that's seemingly running away from you in terror. Don't ignore these, interact with them. Number 3, boulders are badass. From my experiences so far, every single time that I've seen a boulder just casually laying at a cliff edge or sat at the top of a hill, there's always been some poor saps at the bottom just waiting to become pins in a game of cobbled bowling. And these can often give you the upper hand as well when it comes to clearing out camps, getting rid of a couple of enemies before you have to go in there and finish the job yourself. Number 4, use the environment to your advantage. There are numerous locations, even just in the Grand Plateau alone, that require you to sort of fiddle with physics to reach somewhere that you couldn't usually get to on foot. It could be chopping down a tree to create a bridge over a large canyon. You might need to take it one step further and dunk a tree trunk into a rushing river, and then when it inevitably stops, it'll form a bridge to get to a platform. You may even need to use the power of wind to blow gusts of air into the sail of an abandoned raft, maybe with the use of a Korok leaf. Doing that could get you to the other side of some frosty waters where, you guessed it, you're probably going to be rewarded handsomely. Number 5, shred it up, man. One of my favourite things to do, even if it does deplete my shields entirely, is snowboarding. The reason I've given this its own fact and tip slot in this little chart is because I don't recall the game really telling me the control input on how to trigger this ability. And it's pretty simple. All you need to do is be in mid-air from a jump or a fall, hold ZL to go into your guard mode, which obviously would bring your shield out, and then if you press A, voila, you're Shaun White. The board will go beneath your feet, and then you can navigate around with the left stick. You can press X to get some sweet air time, and you can even press Y to do this fancy little spin, which I think is just for show, but I've seen in some other videos players doing the spin, getting an extra couple of feet reach out of a horizontal plane, which gets them onto the next slope. Number 6, damaged goods are really good. So you've been slogging your way through a cobbled camp, trying to wipe them all out just to get that one chest of loot atop the archer tower. But then you get the dreaded, your weapon has low durability message pop up. It sucks. But now you've got an opportunity to inflict some real damage. If you hold R to aim your weapon, and when you release the button, you're going to fling the item across the world, and if it hits an enemy before touching the ground, it's going to explode, dealing twice as much damage as a regular hit. Number 7, fine combing combat. So these ones are pretty simple, but they save my butt a ton of time, so I thought they'd be important to mention. The first one is the flurry rush attack. If you're target locked onto an enemy and doing that little side shuffle like you're Arya Stark in a dance class, then wait for the enemy to go for a jump strike, and as they're in midair, you hit jump at the exact same time, and everything will move into slow motion. Don't press anything just yet. Let yourself land onto the ground, and once your feet are planted, just start mashing Y like there's no tomorrow to just send out a crazy amount of attacks. It's going to be hit city. Second thing is just kind of more from my personal experience. I find that when I use some of the larger weapons, the two-handers, I find that the attack rate on them can be a little bit slow for my taste. So if you want to speed that up a little bit, if you literally just jump and attack whilst in midair, some of those slams have really good knockbacks. The frequency of that attack can be a little bit quicker than regular hits too, and some of them can have devastating effects as well, with a ring of damage appearing all around you. Then a super simple one if you prefer ranged attacks. This has kind of been drilled into gamers over the last couple of decades, but headshots with a bow and arrow is usually double damage. Number 8, clear out camps. I can't tell you the number of times that I've watched YouTube videos of people playing the game for the first time and they don't go ahead and kill all the kobolds in the little encampment. You've got to do this because usually sat atop one of the archer towers is a locked chest. The only way to unlock it is to kill every single enemy in sight. And sure, occasionally you'll only get 5 arrows, which is a little bit lame and a bit dead, but on occasion you're going to get yourself some really rare resources like opal and amber. Number 9, catch them with your bare hands. I only mention this one because I can't tell you how many arrows I wasted on fish in water, frogs roaming around when I was trying to gather ingredients for some of my food. I learned pretty quickly that if you're agile enough, you can actually chase some of these critters down and grab them simply by hitting A next to them. And finally, number 10, retrace your steps. After completing a few of the shrines and gaining some new abilities, I found that when I went back out into Hyrule, I started to look at the world in a whole new way. Areas that I'd previously passed through and didn't really think much of were suddenly ripe with new possibilities. I had access to bombs now, so I could clear that rubble at the foot of the mountain. I had a paraglider that could finally deliver me to that far ledge that I couldn't reach before. That huge metallic plank in the boggy water I could now lift out and actually use as a bridge. And you could probably guess what all of these things led to, right? Yep, you got it. Treasure. So there we go, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I hope all of those tips come in super handy for you. And remember, March 2nd is when my Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild's playthrough begins. Leave a like on the video if you took anything away from this, or if you just kind of enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you all next time. Ta-ra.